Hey guys, what is going on? Today we're going to be talking all about how do you keep your hair system the right color. As most of you know, if you've been wearing for any quantity of time, that your hair system can change color. Now that can be a very, very scary thing, especially if you're just getting your hair back and you're like, holy crap, now my hair is the wrong color. What do I do? So in this video, we're going to be talking all about that subject and some of the different options you have and how to go about solving it. But first, this video is sponsored by LaVivid Hair. If you're looking for a hair system, and I recommend their light density hair systems, check them out, get a discount code with my code in the comment below. Now, as men, this may not be an area that we're quite as specific. Now, as men, this may not be an area that we're as familiar with as women. But whenever you color hair, you can run into a problem. Hair color, even though it's permanent, is not always permanent, meaning that a dyed hair color can often change. And this is nothing to be afraid of. In fact, even our natural hair, some of us genetically have the characteristic of photo bleaching. For example, I myself, when I go out in the sun, my ashy hair turns lighter blonde. And many people experience this as well all around the world. But when you're dealing with dyed hair, there's a similar effect that happens for different reasons. These permanent colors are saturating your hair. Now, when you get your hair professionally dyed, generally it looks exactly the way that you want it. They know how to control colors so that way you get that perfect tone that you are looking for. Now, after you leave the salon, after you dye your hair, even if you do it at home, generally, we go about living our life. Now, the sun is probably one of the harshest things that our hair experiences. And guess what? The sun is beating down on our hair just about every single day. So what happens is UV rays from the sun actually wind up fading the color of your dyed hair. When your hair is exposed to oxygen and UV rays, the underlying warm tones inside of the color come out. This is referred to as brassiness. Now, a lot of advice that you'll see kind of inside of the hair system space and also with those that dye their hair, the advice is, hey, don't expose your hair color to the sun. Well, that's not exactly the most practical thing. Also, some of the advice that you might find is that, don't go in chlorine. A little bit more practical, but these are all things that are keeping you from living your life however you want to live it. So the question is, how do we counteract these brassy tones, which that means if you're brunette or dark blonde, you're looking at like these reddish and orangish undertones. And if you have blonde hair, generally the orangey yellow tones start coming out. So how do we stop this from happening? Well, the secret is really inside of color science. Now, there's nothing really that we can do besides use some protecting products to help remediate the efforts of what the sun is doing to our hair in the UV rays. But what we can do is add a little bit of help, a little bit of support to our hair, which is what this video is all about. And that is color correcting shampoos and conditioners. Now, the way that color correcting shampoos and conditioners work is essentially basic color science. This is something that, listen, guys, I'm no expert in whatsoever. Don't try this at home, but essentially, if we're experiencing brassy tones inside of our hair, that means that we're experiencing reds, oranges, or yellows. For brunettes, it's probably in the reds to orange, which is exactly the problem that I wind up having when I'm out in the sun too much with my hair system. It winds up turning this reddish, orangish tone, which, because my beard is naturally reddish orange, I can kind of get away with it a little bit more. However, it's not 100% desirable. It's something that, it's happening to me. I'm not controlling. If you are more in the blonde area, it'll go orange, yellow. So with that being said, how do we correct this? Well, basic color science says that in order to remove these colors, we actually have to neutralize them. And the way that we neutralize them is by going to the opposite side of the color wheel, which we have right here on the screen. And what you'll see is that on the opposite side of red and orange, we have these blues and blue violets, right? And if you see over here on the opposite side of yellow, it starts going to blue, violet, and yellow. So what we're looking to do if we're experiencing this photo bleaching, if your hair is turning brassy, if it's turning red, orange, or yellow, is you actually are not trying to dye your hair back to its normal color. You're trying to neutralize the tones that are peeking through the coloration. And hair systems, just about every single one of them is dyed to a specific color. The color that you receive, it's not actually the color of the hair of the person who donated or sold their hair. So with that being said, that brings us to something called color depositing shampoos and conditioners. Now, depending of course on the color of your hair naturally and what tones are starting to pop out, but I'll speak for me. When I am getting these red or orange colors coming out of my hair system, what I actually need is a blue shampoo, because this is neutralizing the reddish orangish tones that are inside of my color. So what these blue shampoos are basically surface toners. They're somewhat temporary, and it's something that you should use potentially a couple times a week, and maybe not every single day, because what that can actually do is darken the hair that you do have. So these color depositing shampoos and conditioners work by coating the hair shaft. Generally, these are more temporary, meaning they do wash out with time. So if you do it once, it's not something that is going to stick with you forever. This is something that you got to regularly keep up with in order to keep the right tone of your hair. This is a mistake I made in the past by really only using color depositing conditioner only once in a while. Now you might be saying to yourself, I don't want to spend extra money on color depositing shampoos and conditioners. I just bought a hair system. Well, here's the thing, guys. It's an investment to get a hair system and to keep up with this. And I do think that this is something that is very, very valuable and something that you really do need to consider, because here's the thing. Really, we can make hair systems last a lot longer than we think that we can. Some of the main problems that we experience with hair loss, as far as like why they go bad or why to get a new one, is 1, they get dry, brittle. 2, your hair is tangled and you're actually losing a lot of hair. 3, you're losing a lot of hair, and this can be due to the construction method of the hair system. It can be due to the way that you're using your hair system and being aggressive with it. And then the final reason is the color is just transforming so much that it's not the right color for your natural hair. So we can make our hair systems last quite a bit longer. I know when I first got a hair system that I had a new one within a month, and I needed a new one. I was losing hair profusely, and it looked really, really bad. After, the first year and a half, I've started to get to a point where, I can make them last longer, but one of the problems that I've significantly encountered is the issue of color changing, because I go outside, I live my life. I don't really change my life to match up with the hair system. And I don't encourage that you do this. That's not sustainable long term. We need to find sustainable solutions to go live our life and, have fun. So this for me is one of the big things that is transforming how long my units last. Now I work with hair club sometimes, and I will go in and they'll give me a toner on the hair, which limits the brassiness. But I've really been wanting to discover how to do this myself. And this is the first step. Using these blue shampoos and conditioners are a way to remediate the way that the hair is turning brassy. Now, I do in the future, let me know if you want to see this as well, but in the future, I really want to get into actually like dyeing hair systems, just back to their natural color. Like I really do want to experiment with neutralizing, these brassy tones that are coming out of mine and other people's hair systems, because if I can do that, I can help you get your hair system to last longer. And ultimately, that's what it's all about, saving you guys money, saving myself money, using less product, being more eco-friendly, things like that. So guys, if this was helpful to you, let me know in the comments below, and I don't know, we'll talk soon. Thanks to LaVivid for sponsoring this video. See you soon.